Hey guys and girls, Poketon King here, back with another video. It's been a little while since I made a video. I did a post already on the community page on my channel. It's been almost 3 weeks now since I've uploaded anything on the channel. Apologise for that. I did make a post kind of going through like the reasons as to why the business picked up massively more than I thought it would do over the last couple of months, honestly. I didn't think that I would get to a point where I am, for at least a couple of months. So of course, for the business, it's absolutely amazing for myself as well. But it has meant that the content has suffered because of it. The podcast hasn't stopped. We've still been putting out the podcast stuff. But really, for a while, we had London Card Show. That kind of took a lot of my time out. I've been buying collections. I was a part of one of the biggest Flesh and Blood collections. If anything, actually, it was the biggest Flesh and Blood collection I ever picked up. I did that with a good friend of mine, who will most likely be watching this video and commenting at some point anyway. But I've sort of helped with that. I picked up some bits for myself and then moved over the rest to him because predominantly it was his. I have actually sold out some parts of my collection that I didn't plan to sell to fund the business. So nothing really from the display behind me, bar one graded card. It was the first graded Flesh and Blood card I've ever sold, and probably will be the last I sell for a while. I'm not kind of really making conscious efforts to sell anything in the collection back here. But sometimes, as we know, the price is right. Someone makes an offer, you need to make the sale. And at the moment, everything's going into the business. So whether that is my time and, generally all of my money right now, which is great for the business. As I said, it's doing really well. But that's kind of been what's been happening for me recently. I've got more card shows planned. Obviously, we got Worlds in November. I'm really excited about just to kind of get back really into Flesh and Blood. I honestly haven't been active on any of the socials at all, whether it's Discord or the Facebook groups. So I've kind of since Dusk Till Dawn, I've been selling. I've had my finger on the pulse in terms of prices for singles, because predominantly what I've been doing the last month or so really is selling singles from Dusk Till Dawn, Outsiders, Uprising, Dynasty, and then all the sets before then. So this is a little bit of an update of what I have been doing, and also a kind of video for people that are interested in getting into Flesh and Blood right now, because I've had an influx of people actually recently on my Instagram that have been asking about Flesh and Blood. They obviously see me post all the time, and I think generally there's some traction with the game, honestly, right now, which is really great to see. Because if you've seen my previous content, I think my last video I did actually was talking about what Flesh and Blood needs for the game to grow and evolve and kind of, keep moving onwards, really, honestly. And I know we got Vegas over the weekend that's just gone. I know we had a couple of others. We got one coming up in Ireland as well soon. There's loads dotted around the world right now, nationals, which is absolutely fantastic, with the build up to Worlds obviously in November. So Flesh and Blood really feels like it's not as stagnant as it was, just before Dusk Till Dawn, for instance. I know Dusk Till Dawn is a kind of set that has divided a lot of people. It gave a lot to some people and gave nothing to others, which is understandable. Every set is going to do that, especially these supplemental sets. As I've said before, they're not draftable sets. They're not bringing in a fresh approach. They are kind of there to sort of help and support existing heroes. So it's never going to please everybody. But honestly, I think for those that are interested in getting Flesh and Blood, or maybe people that have picked it up that dropped it and maybe thinking, what, maybe I can get back into it right now. Lorcana's just come out. That's going to be, a lot of eyes are going to be on Lorcana right now, honestly. The amount of people that I've seen talking about playing it, collecting it, wanting to invest in it is absolutely phenomenal. And, any new game that enters the market is going to change things, and that will change things for other card games as well, because they're going to be looking at what Lorcana's doing and going, I'm not saying they're going to take ideas from them, but they're going to kind of see what they're doing and maybe take notice. Because I think the big thing that a lot of card games shouldn't be doing is being a little bit relaxed with the model that they've got going. Magic the Gathering have got these expanded universes coming out, There's so much planned. We've got Fallout, we've got Final Fantasy, Assassin's Creed. Obviously, we've got Doctor Who coming out soon. We've got another Lord of the Rings set. It'll be interesting to see kind of what that is, honestly. But obviously, Flesh and Blood has announced their next set. We got Bright Lights coming out. Pokemon 151 in English is going to be coming out next month. They've already announced the next Japanese set. They're doing like made to order now for Ruler of the Black Flame. So there's a lot going on in card games, honestly, which is really exciting because as somebody who is passionate about card games, and I sell singles on Cardmarket, it is RatheTavernCards now on there. I managed to get that sorted over. I sell, Magic the Gathering, Flesh and Blood, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon. I've got Digimon on there as well. I'll be getting One Piece on there at some point soon. So I kind of want to, stock a variety of card games, but the main ones are going to be Flesh and Blood, Magic, and probably Pokemon on there, honestly. And the same for the website as well. I'm in the process of being sorted out with distribution, which is a process that's taken a little bit longer than I thought it would do, honestly. I never had any kind of false pretense about how easy it would be. But generally, there's when you're not a brick and mortar store, it's very difficult to kind of get sorted these kind of things. But it's all part of the challenge. It's all part of the fun, right? And when you do kind of get there, it's ever more rewarding because you knew that there was a little bit more work involved in getting there, which I'm not shy to at all. But I am going to be trying to make more regular content, especially on Flesh and Blood. For that has been the goal of the channel, honestly, for so long, and that's kind of where we started. There'll probably be a point where I will change the channel name, honestly, but for now, everybody knows me as Poketin King, so it kind of makes sense to keep that. But Flesh and Blood, so I've had people looking all the way back to sets, of Tales of Aria and wondering why Everfest is so cheap. So we had the Fab 2.0, and I know a lot of people watching this video might tune out now that if you are into Flesh and Blood, because it's not going to be stuff that you don't know already, honestly. But for those that are interested, that I know somebody called Luke. He recently commented on one of my videos saying that he is kind of he's somebody that's going to be a bit more casual in terms of like Flesh and Blood. He's had a keen interest over the years, and there are always going to be people that have a little bit of interest that might pick up little bits here and there. They're never going to be a player, and they probably won't be a big collector, but they want to get involved in the game and kind of see how the game grows. The artwork is something that really interests a lot of people. That's something that I took away from London Card Show, was the artwork was what brought a lot of people over, and that's really what kind of got me in the game, honestly. It reminded me a little bit of Magic the Gathering, and that cold fantasy world is so far different to Lorcana and Pokemon and the anime-based TCGs like One Piece and Weiss Schwarz and stuff like that. So Flesh and Blood, really, I think there's never been a better time, really. This past couple of months is a great time. I said this at the start of the summer. Get involved in Flesh and Blood this summer. Prices are still quite low for some stuff, right? E-Strikes are ridiculously cheap right now. They're like 25 euros on Cardmarket, I think. Art of Wars are like 35 euros. Command and Conquer is around 75 to 80. But it'll be interesting to see what this new slot is in Bright Lights. Will Tunic get reprinted? I know the Rainbow Foil version's back up again. The white border one seems to be quite cheap. So there's a lot of sealed that seems to be really cheap. Tales of Aria, I think it was 10 or 11 boxes. First edition went for 500 quid. It worked out like £45 a box, which is ridiculous because Tales of Aria is a fantastic set. We know that 2 of the 3 heroes are LL'd, so they can't be used right now in competitive play, but it's not going to be the case forever, right? We're going to get a Living Legend format. We're going to get other heroes in the future that could probably use a lot of these cards. And I've said it before, the cold foil pulses are so underrated and they are so cheap. Just pick up a copy of each of them, honestly. They're really beautiful cards. Channel Lake Frigid as well. That is an absolutely stunning card. A really beautiful card. And the alternative art, again, is such a nice card. And that seems to be quite cheap from what I've heard in the US anyway. TCG Player doesn't seem to be very moving on that at all. Cardmarket has, but that's because there's less copies. So whenever there's like kind of less copies, like first edition Crucible of War, Tunic, for instance, the Krunic, I picked that up recently. I think there's like 8 copies on Cardmarket last time I checked, which is ridiculously, low. I know it's non-foil and I know it's Krunic, but that's not that many copies, honestly. And we know that Crucible of War was the least printed set across both sets. whether that's first edition and unlimited, just because the print runs, were so low for that unlimited run compared to, Welcome to Wraith and Arcane Rise, and then obviously all the sets going over there. So for loads that are kind of interested, it was a quick video that I just wanted to make something to, show people that I'm still alive, that people that are interested in getting into Flesh and Blood, I'm going to be making more content about that. It's a mixture, honestly, of being so busy with the business and kind of burnout. The aim was always to be consistent with content, but we know that not everything, you plan happens. That's just not the way it is. But I appreciate the patience. Usually with these kind of things, I would expect loads of people to unsubscribe because, I'm not making content. But, I haven't lost subscribers, and my older videos are still getting watched, which is really great to see. So yeah, enjoy the older content whilst I'm not making as much content. November is when I will have more time for the business and more time for content creation. From the start of November, things change. I'll be stepping down as my position at work, and I'll be working a lot less hours. So I'll have a lot more time for the content creation, for planning. Editing, I'm just absolutely lackluster at. If you know me well enough, you know that I'm abysmal at editing. I really can't even edit, honestly. And you'll understand this with my videos, where there's bits in my videos that maybe I make mistakes or, things like that, where other people would just cut them out. I just roll with it, honestly. The content I make is raw, it's natural, it's, it should probably be edited at sometimes, but, we're not there yet anyway. But I appreciate the patience. Check out all the socials. Check out the website, RatheTavernCards.co.uk, and have a great day.